Most deep-sea creatures vanish into darkness, but the vampire squid survives where almost nothing else can. It does this by turning its own body into a glowing, living smoke bomb. Its world is so starved of oxygen that one mistake means suffocation. How does it use umbrella capes to create blinding escapes and outwit every rule of survival? The answer lies deeper than you think. 600 meters below the surface, sunlight is a distant memory. Here, in the midnight zone, water presses in from all sides with 60 times the force of air at sea level. Temperatures hover between 2 and 6 degrees Celsius, cold enough to slow the pulse of nearly every living thing. Oxygen is scarce, often less than 5% of what surface waters hold. For most animals, this is a suffocating, silent world. The darkness is absolute. No shapes drift in from above, no shadows flicker across the seafloor. Even the faintest glow from the surface is swallowed long before it reaches these depths. The vampire squid's home stretches from 600 to 1,200 meters down, a band of ocean known to scientists as the oxygen minimum zone. In these tropical and temperate waters, the rules of survival are rewritten. Every breath is a struggle, and movement costs precious energy. The pressure would crush fragile bodies, and the cold slows even the most determined swimmers. Most predators avoid this layer entirely, unable to cope with the relentless shortage of oxygen. Only a handful of creatures have found ways to survive in this unyielding environment. Here, the vampire squid faces a daily riddle: how to persist where almost nothing else can. In a realm without light or air to spare, every adaptation is a lifeline. Surviving in the midnight zone demands a body that can stretch every molecule of oxygen to its limit. The vampire squid stands out among deep-sea creatures for its astonishingly low metabolic rate, the lowest ever measured for any cephalopod. That low rate means it uses energy at a slow drip, drifting rather than darting, conserving every calorie in a world where food and oxygen are scarce. Its blood runs blue, not red, thanks to hemocyanin, a copper-based molecule that binds to oxygen with remarkable efficiency. Unlike hemoglobin in humans, hemocyanin works best when oxygen is nearly gone, allowing the squid to draw out what little is left in the water around it. Enlarged gills, much greater in surface area than those of related species, act like giant filters, pulling in every scrap of oxygen from the thin, cold water. Dr. Bradford Seibel, a leading expert on deep-sea physiology, explains that the vampire squid's metabolism is so low that it can survive where most animals would suffocate, and that hemocyanin and the gills do the heavy lifting. This combination of slow-burning metabolism, oxygen-grabbing blood, and oversized gills lets the vampire squid thrive where others fail. But there is a trade-off. The same adaptations that allow survival in low oxygen also limit speed and power. Quick escapes and high-speed chases are off the table. Every movement must be measured, every defense must be low energy. The vampire squid's entire strategy revolves around making the most of very little, and it sets the stage for the unusual low-energy defenses that define its life in the deep. 8 arms, each lined with soft, finger-like cirri, stretch outward and connect through a thin, translucent web. When danger looms, the vampire squid performs a transformation that seems almost impossible for such a delicate creature. It draws its arms up and over its head, folding the web around its body like a cloak. In this posture, the squid's true outline disappears. The web forms a broad, umbrella-like shield, concealing its vulnerable head and mantle beneath a curtain of flesh. The cirri and arm tips bristle outward, giving the illusion of spines. To a would-be predator, the vampire squid appears suddenly much larger and more menacing, yet every part of this display is soft and harmless. No spikes, no armor, just the clever arrangement of its own tissues. Its eyes, already among the largest in the animal kingdom for its size, seem to change color, sometimes red, sometimes blue, depending on how the faintest glimmer of light strikes them. This inside-out trick is pure bluff, costing almost no energy. It buys precious seconds in a world where every calorie counts. As one ROV pilot described after witnessing the maneuver, it was like watching an animal turn itself into a completely different creature right before your eyes. For the vampire squid, this umbrella posture is the first line of defense, a living shield that confuses, startles, and sometimes persuades a predator to move on. But if the bluff fails, the squid has another card to play, hidden just beneath that cloak. Predators in the midnight zone hunt by different rules. Where light is almost non-existent, vision no longer dominates. Deep-sea hunters rely on the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence, the subtle pulse of movement, or the trace of a chemical signature drifting through the water. In these conditions, the classic cephalopod defense, an inky cloud, falls flat. For most squid and octopuses, ink is a lifesaver, billowing out as a dark smokescreen to break a predator's line of sight. But in water this dark, there is nothing to see and nothing to hide behind. A black cloud in black water is invisible, wasted effort in a world where energy is everything. The vampire squid, unlike its shallow water relatives, has lost the ink sac entirely. This is not a sign of primitive design, but a precise evolutionary response. Cephalopod systematists confirm the cost of carrying and producing ink simply is not worth it in the deep. Instead, predators here are tuned to flashes of light, not shadows. The absence of ink leaves a puzzle. How can a defenseless, slow-moving animal escape in total darkness when every movement is a potential beacon? The answer lies not in darkness, but in light, a solution as strange as the deep itself. A sudden flash of blue erupts from the darkness as the vampire squid's last defense comes alive. Instead of fleeing, it releases a sticky, glowing cloud from the tips of its arms, a luminous smoke bomb that lingers in the water for several minutes. Each droplet of mucus is packed with microscopic particles that produce their own light, powered by a unique chemical reaction involving coelenterazine and luciferase. The effect is immediate and overwhelming. In a world where eyes are tuned to the faintest shimmer, this burst of bioluminescence blinds and disorients any would-be attacker. Predators searching for a meal are left groping through a glowing haze, unable to track the squid as it drifts quietly away. The cloud does not just distract, it can cling to the predator itself, turning hunter into target. Other deep-sea creatures, drawn by the sudden glow, may close in, forcing the original attacker to retreat. This is a true burglar alarm. As Dr. Stephen Haddock of MBARI explains, the vampire squid's glowing mucus isn't just a smokescreen, it is a burglar alarm that can last for minutes, lighting up the attacker and giving the squid time to escape. In the deep, this is the ultimate trick, not just vanishing, but turning the tables with a living flash of light. Long before the dinosaurs vanished, ancestors of the vampire squid were already drifting through ancient seas. The fossil record traces their lineage back 200 to 300 million years, making them one of the oldest surviving branches of the cephalopod family tree. While other relatives evolved into fast hunters or masters of disguise, the vampire squid kept to a quieter path. Its basic body plan, with soft, webbed arms, a gelatinous mantle and enormous eyes, remains almost unchanged from those ancient forms, a living fossil perfectly suited to the deep. Despite its dramatic name, this animal is no predator. Instead, it fills the role of a gentle scavenger in the ocean's darkest depths. The vampire squid extends long, slender filaments far beyond its body, using them to collect a rain of organic particles called marine snow. Bits of dead plankton, drifting algae, and other debris stick to the filaments, which the squid then rolls into sticky, mucus-coated food strings. This quiet feeding method costs little energy and suits a world where every calorie must be stretched. By gathering and recycling this falling detritus, the vampire squid helps keep the deep sea clean and moves nutrients through a hidden ecosystem. Its slow, steady existence, shaped by ancient oceans and refined by time, shows that survival isn't always about speed or strength. Sometimes the best strategy is patience, efficiency, and a design that has worked for hundreds of millions of years. Even now, scientists have yet to observe a vampire squid's glowing escape in its natural habitat, proof that some deep-sea secrets still elude us. As technology pushes deeper, each glimpse reminds us that the ocean's oldest survivors shape invisible worlds that sustain our own. What else waits beyond the reach of our lights?